Hi everyone, my name is Crystal King, and I'll be doing a professional development presentation on confidentiality. I think this topic is pretty complex and is such a gray area in the field of school counseling, but it's also the top most important aspects of it. Um, we are in the school to ensure the well being of a student, both emotionally and mentally, and socially, and academically, and physically, and all those things. Um, but they need to be able to trust us with certain information, and they need to feel like it's safe with us. And that's the importance of confidentiality, making sure that they know from the beginning that what they say with us is safe with us. Um, and I think this does get tricky when you work in a K through 12 setting because they're not adults yet. Sometimes they might not be able to fathom what confidentiality is. They may not understand where they're at developmentally. And certain things a parent will want to know. That is their child, they're under their care. And with confidentiality being so gray, I think this presentation will help make it a little more black and white, hopefully, as well as us, having that discernment and judgment and our own values and belief on what can be shared or what can't be shared and things like that. And I think hopefully we'll be able to build rapport with our students and trust, but also realizing that that has to be at the same level with the parent and guardian. And what I found interesting after an article I read is that if you really look at ASCA in section A.2G, it's important to understand that, yes, ethically, a student is the client and we're there for their well being and making sure that they're okay in order to be successful academically, but legally, the parent is our client. And I thought that was an interesting take on the topic. I've never heard that before. It's always been, be there for the student. And I hope that what I have prepared, the ethical issues, some techniques and research that I've concluded that will help everyone as they advance in their career on how to handle situations where a parent desires involvement. They want to know what's going on and how to balance the relationship between them and the student. And so a research that I was able to include in one article states that the best way to ensure confidentiality is to build that trusting relationship with the parent and guardians with the help of solid education and effective communication. So it is attainable for when they come in and they see you and they have a face to the name on who their child school counselor is, that they know your nature and what you're doing to ensure that their student or their child is being taken care of while they're at school. And they should feel that confidence, that security, because they're there for about 6 hours a day. So you want to have that communication. You want to express to them the importance of confidentiality, that there can be some levels of privacy between the relationship. So if the parent sees it as important and not, who are you? That's my child, or anything like that. If they really do trust you, then they'll see that, okay, maybe my child might not be ready to share this with me. But I know that under Mr. or Mrs. Miss so and so under their care that they should be okay. So we need to have that, education on the topic. We need to have effective communication in that relationship with the parents as well. Remembering, legally they're our client because they are taking care of our students. And so some techniques that I was able to discover is, making sure that every effort is made to ensure the privacy for both the students and the families. I'm seeing it as a whole unit together under my care. So whether that's emails going back and forth, it's things left out on the desk, or attendances being made, or letters being sent home that the whole class can see. It's really making sure that the privacy of the needs of both the student and the family are kept just between me, and their names aren't involved and their situation isn't being displayed for others to hear that don't need to hear it. I think confidentiality should be met at different developmental stages for children. Some children just don't understand it. They might not understand the severity of a problem They might not know what's best for them just yet, and that's under your discernment and how you best assess the situation. But also realizing that confidentiality it should be tweaked and not met the same for different age groups. Where they're at, they can't really fathom or comprehend it in a way that they would if they were a senior in high school. But then also realizing that autonomy and independence is there too as they're growing older. Um, but we should still create that bridge of communication support between the parents, no matter what age group or developmental stage is at. Like making sure that we're doing our best to maintain that relationship is important as well. And you also want to know and be in obedience to the law and the school-wide district rules under certain cases. So that's where, solid education is necessary. What are the rules that you need to abide by as well? And when it comes to privileged communication, which is, the right to withhold information during legal procedures or cases that are being formed, really making sure that the student and the family is aware and that it's communicated properly, so that school counselors aren't in violation of the law. And then you also want to make sure that you're maintaining a proper and effective collaboration with administration as we come up with a plan to remain ethical during all situations and management agreements between parents, which I'm going to get into next. There should be a plan. There should be venues of communication conversations. Needs to be in agreement with administration, so principals, your supervisor of guidance, other teachers. It should be a cohesive environment that everyone is on the same page when it comes to this gray area, and hopefully one day it won't be as gray. And so a plan for parent collaboration is having activities to educate parents on the importance of confidentiality, including pieces of empathy. How would you feel? Or putting them in their child's shoes. Just activities they can come up with so that they are educated on confidentiality and they're confident that as school counselors, there will be times where maybe we can't share or how things are shared or when things are shared, that it's all done at a proper time and done with wisdom. And so definitely using different venues of communication that they can always go back to. And hopefully there won't be times of confusion, but you have, letters being sent home, your school website in a section for counseling, that they're aware of it, phone calls that can be made, meetings that can be had, a bunch of other things, but that all communication venues are exhausted, that it's everywhere, that every parent has a means to understand the importance of confidentiality, and that these boundaries are set at the very beginning of a school year. So whether that's at a back to school night or just a meeting put together at the beginning, that parents are informed that this is an important aspect to build trust and rapport with their students so that they can feel free to share with a safe adult. And that also comes with informed consent that are being sent home to parent, or a packet of guidelines on confidentiality or the role of a school counselor, so that all questions can be answered at their fingertips, or at a quick link to a website or an email, whatever the case may be, and really utilizing both internet and papers that can be sent home, and just really ensuring that all parents feel are just made aware and they're informed of what's going to be conducted throughout their school year, or however many years their child is under your care. And so I hope that you found this professional development presentation helpful. I know it was helpful for me. Once again, just really reiterating in section 8.2 that, ethically the student is our client, but legally the parent is the client, and really making sure that there is proper communication and trust and rapport between all parties, so that you can have a cohesive school year between everyone, especially administration, especially teachers, I think the role of a school counselor is so unique, and I think um, this gray area could be a little more black and white. So I hope you learned something today, and I wish you luck as you come across these situations in your career. Thank you for listening.